Popcorn Blaze! Imagine waking up in a dark room chained and abducted by a twisted killer who's out to play a deadly game with your life. What would you do? We'll be breaking down the estranged, malevolent traps of two unknown victims in Saw. Booyah! Lawrence, Gordon, and Adam, two guys who are trapped in one sick game put together by the notorious serial killer Jigsaw. They regain consciousness in some room, clueless about how they got there. And guess what? They stumble upon a dead guy who killed himself holding a tape player and a freaking gun. Now, Adam checks his pockets and finds a cassette tape, while Lawrence digs into his own and sees a tape, a bullet, and a key. Adam's MacGyver skills come through and he uses his shirt to get the radio. He plays the tape and there's his voice on it, telling him how pathetic his life is and that he's going to bite the dust if he doesn't act. As for Lawrence, his tape goes on about how he needs to kill Adam before 6:00 p.m. Otherwise, his wife, Allison, and his daughter, Diana, will soon join Batman's parents, and he will rot in the room. And then the game begins with a clue scribbled on the toilet. Adam bursts open the toilet lid and discovers two saws wrapped in a bag. They both try sawing off the chains on their legs, but it doesn't work. So why are these here in the first place? Well, they figure out that these bad boys aren't for the chains, they're meant to slice their own feet to freedom. Ugh, that's messed up. Oh, and Lawrence starts connecting the dots, realizing who might be behind all of this. He remembers this slippery serial killer who's been giving the cops a run for their money. The police found some poor chap locked up in a cage with a recording. The dude got smoked by the mysterious Jigsaw killer, so Lawrence explains the whole deal about the Jigsaw killer and his victims. One of the detectives had suspicions about Lawrence since his pen light was at a crime scene. And there's this girl named Amanda who survived one of Jigsaw's twisted games. She had to slice open her partner's guts to grab the keys and escape from this freaky reverse bear trap thing strapped to her head. This is crazy, right? Well, she was a drug dealer, and it seems like this killer has a thing for targeting people with a shady past. Now, here's where things heat up. Adam starts accusing Lawrence of being the mastermind behind their kidnapping. Frustrated as hell, he tosses some metal objects at the window and guess what? It shatters, revealing a camera recording their every move. They realize that they're being watched and that there's his voice coming from behind the camera. It's pretty clear that the killer thought of every possible escape plan. Lawrence remembers that tape mentioning something about finding a clue with the ex. He thinks of his final words to his daughter and the fight he had with his wife the day before. Desperate for answers, he throws his wallet at Adam, and when Adam peeks at the wallet's photo, his mind is blown. It's a pic of Allison and Diana all tied up in their bedroom, with a note scribbled on the back. Adam snatches that photo, hoping it might hold a clue. Waking up in some freaky place with a chain on your leg is crazy. Like, what the actual heck? It's like, bam, you're kidnapped and forced into this messed up game you never signed up for. No escape. Just play along and pray you don't end up 6 feet under. Adam and Dr. Lawrence find themselves in this insane situation and they're pissed and scared out of their minds at the same time. Every attempt to break free from that leg chain fails miserably. It's like hitting a brick wall. And to top it off, their creepy kidnapper is right there watching their every move. Now, when you're stuck in a pickle like this, try to stay calm, alright? Too much panic can mess with your head and make you go bananas. Gotta keep a cool hand and think things through. Follow the game's instructions, but stay sharp and use that brain of yours every step of the way. Think about it, this abductor knows Adam and Lawrence inside out, so they better play their cards right. One wrong move and it's game over for them. Now, Dr. Lawrence could give in to the demands of this psychopath and kill Adam. That way he could get out of there pronto. But that's a little inhuman, right? Dr. Lawrence should go ahead and confirm if the corpse is actually dead, and on the flip side, Adam could use the saw and I don't know, trying to cut down the pipe that the chains are attached to? Back at home, Detective Tapp saw some dude lurking around Dr. Lawrence's crib by the window. Tapp had all these clips of past victims of the serial killer pinned up on his action board. He has been on this case for ages. He started reminiscing about one of his previous investigations where he found some sick clues. Tapp even showed his partner, Singh, the video, and they decided to go to the address they saw in it. They pulled up to this rundown building. It was like stepping to the exact spot from the video, like deja vu. And guess what? They found a sick setup straight out of the twisted mind of the psycho who snatched up Lawrence and Adam. They spotted a guy tied to a chair about to meet his maker. Tapp and seen trying to save the dude when suddenly the killer showed up. They tried to throw hands, but this crazy dude was like, hey, save the dude's life if you can find the key to unlock his padlock. Scene tried a bunch of keys, but none of them did the trick. Turns out, the killer had played them like a cheap violin. And then out of nowhere, he caught Tapp slipping, slicing his throat, and running away. Singh went ballistic, chasing the killer and shooting left and right. He even managed to hit the dude in the side, but little did he know it was a trap. There was this string rigged up to a gun hanging there. As soon as Singh's leg brushed against that string, boom! The gun fired a bullet straight into his dome, sending him to the other side. The killer, with a limp and all, just dipped from the scene like it was no biggie. Tapp and Singh rushed up to the warehouse straight into the heart of Jigsaw's mind games. They were too hyped. Don't even bother calling for backup or getting a warrant. They were like, nah, we got this, no need for extra hands. But little did they know, Jigsaw had thought ahead. He had set up this twisted maze of traps just in case the police came knocking. With all the knowledge they had about Jigsaw's sick mind and his schemes, they should have known better. The whole damn building was probably rigged up with deadly surprises. It was a fatal mistake, not thinking about the consequences. No sane person would step foot into that hellhole without a whole squad backing them up. The right procedure would be to call for a SWAT team and the bomb squad to defuse the death trap one step at a time. But nah, they'd skip that stuff, and you know what happened? Detective Singh met his untimely end. And only if Tapp kept an eye on the killer, he wouldn't have gotten a tattoo on his neck by the Jigsaw killer. Like, he is right there! Why not handcuff him in the first place? The consequences of their reckless choices echo through those corridors, a bone-chilling reminder of the price you pay when you're not careful in the face of pure evil. Back in that bathroom, Adam couldn't stop staring at that photo he took from Lawrence's wallet. He kept looking at it over and over, trying to find some damn clue. Lawrence was getting all frustrated, feeling like Adam ain't opening up and sharing his thoughts. They both needed to put their heads together and figure out a way out of this mess. Adam had a bright idea. He told Lawrence to kill the lights. Once it got dark, they spotted the X clue. Lawrence straight up smashed that spot and they discovered a box with a padlock. Turns out, the key to that box was the same one Lawrence found in his envelope earlier. Lawrence popped that sucker open and inside was a cell phone, a cigarette, and a note telling him to kill Adam with it. Adam asked for the cigarette, but Lawrence shut down that real quick. Then Lawrence tried calling the police with the cell phone, but it was a bust. That phone could only receive calls, but there's no outgoing. It hit Lawrence with a strong sense of deja vu, memories flooding back from a sketchy night. He was rushing from the hospital to his car, feeling all paranoid like someone was on his tail. The sound of a camera clicking played in his ears, but he couldn't spot the source, all hidden in the shadows. The dude was freaking out and thought he could take cover in a public phone booth trying to make a call. But guess what? The call won't go through. Even his own cell phone was a useless brick with no damn signal. Then, out of nowhere, some attacker came from the shadows, caught Lawrence off guard, and straight up wrecked him. That brutal attack was the catalyst that threw him into this messed up bathroom, and now he finds out about the photo Adam took from his wallet earlier? That crushed him. So Lawrence and Adam put their heads together, coming up with a plan to make it look like Lawrence killed Adam with a cigarette dipped in the dead guy's blood. Little did they know, the supposedly dead dude was still alive, hearing every word they said. He shocked Adam, revealing the truth to Zep, the sicko keeping them hostage. Lawrence felt a deep sense of disappointment when their plan failed. He took another shot at cutting that chain, but it was a lost cause. And then, out of the blue, Adam's memory came rushing back, remembering the horrifying events of his own abduction from his home the night before. Just when things couldn't get crazier, that cell phone started ringing. Lawrence picked it up, and it was his daughter on the line, telling him to come home. He even talked to his wife Allison, who warned him not to believe a damn word Adam said, claiming Adam had been playing him all along. Lawrence confronted Adam, and boy did Adam spill the beans. Turns out, he was getting paid by someone to tail Lawrence, taking pictures and all that. And You won't believe who Adam described as the one paying him. Detective Tapp. That's some next level mind-blowing stuff. It turns out Dr. Lawrence and Adam weren't completely strangers after all. Adam hadn't been creeping around town, keeping tabs on Lawrence, snapping pics like a damn paparazzi. Detective Tapp, on the other hand, got kicked out from the police force after his partner, Mr. Singh, got killed. But that didn't stop Tapp from getting all fixated on the case, still believing that Lawrence had some kind of connection or could be the serial killer. You see, Lawrence was the prime suspect in the Jigsaw killings, but the cops never stopped to think that this thing took some serious time to plan, set up, and execute. I mean, we're talking custom-built contraptions, rooms all rigged up, and clues hidden like a damn treasure hunt. Plus, the victims had been under surveillance for weeks. Now, just think about it. A surgeon who's working non-stop but taking time off to do all of this is not gonna go unnoticed by his colleagues. So old Tapp had his eyes locked on the wrong target this whole time. He swung and he missed big time. Back at home, Allison pulled a slick move and freed herself from the restraints, then started working on untangling her daughter. But while she was doing that, she heard those footsteps getting closer. Quick as a fox, she jumped back into position, acting all tied up again, and then walks the dude who had them all bound up, holding a gun like he owned the place. He's all like, "Your husband's time is up." Then he hands her Lawrence's cell phone, letting her have one last chat with her man. Now, here's where things get intense. While she's on the call, Allison seizes the moment, shoving Zepp to the floor and getting a hold of his gun. She tells him not to even think about moving, but she gets distracted with her girl Diana. Zepp tries to pull a sneaky move, going all out to grab the gun. It's a straight up battle. Shots fired up in the air, catching the ear of Detective Tapp, who happened to be chilling in his own apartment nearby. That dude springs into action and rushes to the scene, ready to save the day for the mom and her daughter. Allison, holding a pair of scissors, manages to stab Zepp in the leg before making her get away with Diana. Tapp arrives, but his ammo's all spent after firing a series of shots. Zepp slips away, and Tapp isn't about to let him off easy. He chases him down, relentless as hell, all the way to some shady abandoned warehouse. They go at it, lock in a desperate struggle for that gun, but tragically, Tapp loses his own life in the mix. Looking at one of the photos, Adam's sharp eyes catch a glimpse of someone else at Dr. Lawrence's crib, apart from his wife and kid. And what do you know? Dr. Lawrence recognizes the face of that man in the picture. It's Zepp, one of the hospital orderlies. Allison, holding that gun, had the perfect chance to shoot Zepp while he was down on the ground, but she hesitates, getting all distracted by her daughter. And Zepp takes advantage, snatches back that gun, and makes his escape. And that's the very reason Detective Tapp ends up dying, because he confronts Zepp head on at the abandoned warehouse. If only Allison had shot Zepp before Tapp showed up, that detective would still be alive. In that grimy bathroom, Dr. Lawrence's heart was a whirlwind of emotions as he strained to hear his wife's voice through the phone. Gunshots echoed in the background, a chilling reminder of the danger lurking outside those suffocating walls. And then, like a bolt of lightning, he was zapped by an electric shock. But somehow, against all odds, he managed to survive. That phone kept on ringing, tormenting both Lawrence and Adam just out of their grasp, driving them crazy. Lawrence's anxiety soared, his nerves on edge, and in a fit of desperation, he tore off his own clothes, revealing his vulnerability. His mind raced, knowing time was ticking away past that damn 6 o'clock p.m. mark, and his options dwindling. Determined to save his family and taste freedom once again, he reached for a saw, cold and unforgiving, and made the gut-wrenching decision to sever his own damn feet. Blood spilled and he was in pain, but he pushed through. With sheer willpower, he mustered the strength to retrieve a bullet he had stumbled upon earlier. Crawling towards the lifeless figure sprawled on the floor, he grabbed that gun, loaded that bullet, and without hesitation, he shot at him. As fate would have it, Zepp, the one holding the key to the bathroom, finally unlocked the door, ready to unleash his twisted wrath upon Dr. Lawrence for being late with his sick game. But Adam came back to life. With the speed of a viper, he swung that toilet lid, bashing Zepp's skull, putting an end to his wicked existence. Relief washed over both Adam and Lawrence, gratitude filling their souls. Lawrence, crawling his way out of that hellhole, vowed to get help for Adam to bring an end to this nightmare. Meanwhile, Adam stumbled upon a cassette player tucked away in Zepp's pocket. Curiosity got to him and he pressed play. The tape spilled secrets, unveiling the truth. Zepp was just a pawn, manipulated by the actual serial killer, Mr. John, one of Lawrence's own patients. John had a tumor in his brain, and to secure the antidote, to keep his blood from turning into poison, John forced Zepp to carry out his sick bidding, murdering a mother and her innocent child, Allison and Diana, Lawrence's own flesh and blood. John was that corpse in the pool of blood and has been playing dead this whole damn time. He stood up, showing his twisted grin, taunting Adam with a wicked riddle. The key to that chain, the one tied to Adam's leg, John claimed it was sitting in the bathtub all along, but that key had been flushed down the drain, forever out of reach. Adam was left stranded in that cursed bathroom as Mr. John started laughing like a maniac, slamming the door shut, abandoning him to his ghastly fate. John's first target in this messed up game was Zepp Brendel, this orderly at the hospital who had actually been pretty nice to John, but even with the positive vibes, John needed Zepp to be a part of his twisted plan. As John's own life was slipping away, he carefully watched and picked his victims. Now, Lawrence was on the hook to kill Adam before time ran out, while Adam's goal was to escape the whole messed up situation. Looks like Lawrence got tested because he cheated on his wife. He had to learn how to fight for his family, even if it meant losing a body part or his own life. As for Adam, he was targeted because he spent more time spying on others instead of sorting out his own life. Now, if Lawrence kept his thing in his pants, the whole deal would have been different. He wouldn't have been a target in this deadly game. And the same goes for Adam. If he'd focused more on taking care of himself and getting his life in order instead of playing the spy, he wouldn't have ended up in this sick game either. Oh, and get this, neither Lawrence nor Adam thought to use the hacksaw to saw through the pipe they were chained to. That way, they could have busted out without anyone having to chop off their own feet. Lawrence is this surgical doc, but he somehow didn't notice that the corpse in the room wasn't going yellow or having black blood. I guess he was too focused on hacking off that chain from his leg, not paying much attention to the other stuff going on. If he'd realized that dude was still alive, he would have blasted him instead of shooting Adam, and they both would have gotten out of there alive. We can't even distinguish what we just witnessed here. That Jigsaw guy, him and everything messed up in the psychotic brain. You're a poor sport, but we applaud your devotion for human meaning and desire. Most people aren't so grateful to be alive, but if you were Gordon or Adam, what would you have done? Leave your comments down below. Booyah!